be strengthened in environment conservation, revenue collection and good governance. On his part, the ambassador of Rwanda, Major General Charles Karamba, assured President Magufuli of strengthening relations between the two countries. The government has read fresh new charges to the former Director General of the National Identification Authority, NIDA, Dixon Maimu, and 4 co-accused after the third accused, Oster Ndege, admitted to his charges and agreed to pay 293 million shillings. State Attorney Ladislao Komanya requested Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court to have more charges against the accused, which was opposed by the defendant's advocate, who said that the 5th and 4th accused have requested to meet with the Director of Public Prosecutions to see how they can return the money they are accused of laundering. Other accused of the case include former NIDA Commercial Manager Evelyn Momburi, Transport Officer George Ntalima, Director of Legal Affairs Sabina Raymond, and Zaveri Kayombo. And religious leaders in Dar es Salaam have called on their believers to elect people with leadership qualities and not because of religious or ethnic ideologies. The religious leaders made the call at a forum a day before the exercise to issue nomination forms for candidates of the local government elections.
Ambao wana sifa, wana weledi, wazalendo.
Leaders who qualify and are ethical and patriotic and will work hard to serve their country, each in his own capacity. As spiritual leaders, we've seen it fit to give our input regarding the election, but also on an industrialized economy which is also geared towards middle income.
Viongozi wa dini watashirikiana na serikali kuhakikisha kwamba uchumi huu unasimama sawa sawa.
Shule inasema ni kituo cha polisi. Unamuliza pesa iko wapi ile ya serikali?
It is important for those contesting to understand their responsibilities and must work with the government.
Kujua sheria ni muhimu, kujua mambo gani ambao wataahidi wananchi ambao wanaweza nayo na ambao hawana uwezo nayo.
And the government has allocated more than 13 billion shillings for construction and rehabilitation of all ferries in the country, which include the new ferry, which will provide transport services between Nyamisati and Mafia Island in Coast Region, which has never had reliable marine transport since independence.
This is just the beginning. We expect to have more. Since independence, people have had to use small vessels to cross over, but the time is now for change. This will truly liberate the people of Mafia and will cost at least Tanzanian shillings 5.3 billion. The engineer has given us assurance that work will be completed in the specified time. We take seriously and we have a large local manpower, and what we are doing is to train them, some from Beta and other colleges, so we can do the job no matter how demanding.
57 passengers escaped death after a tire burst on a bus they had boarded called Super Fail, which was traveling from Bear region to Sogea in Ruvuma region, lost control and crashed into some bushes. Ruvuma Regional Commissioner, who arrived at the scene of the accident, called on drivers to make sure they inspect their vehicles to avoid such accidents happening.
Baada ya kutoka Mkongotema, nimeshuka hiyo down kali.
As I was coming the hill, the front tire on the left side burst and the bus came off the road. But luckily, I was able to control it. He managed to control the bus, although there has been some damage and some passengers have been hurt. We thank God because God gave him the wisdom. Without him, he wouldn't have managed. I'm sorry that you had to go through this.
Poleni sana.
We will have to inspect the vehicle to establish the cause of the accident.
Residents from Katavi turned up in big numbers at Mpanda Municipal Hall to voice their concerns, which include land disputes and families being abandoned, particularly by male public servants.
He has abandoned the children. Last time he saw them was in August. He has taken all property, including farms, which he sold to minors. Some property I had when he married me. What this guy has to do now is tell us why he has abandoned his family. He is putting my office in disrepute. Families have been abandoned, and all those guilty of doing so will be brought to justice.
And the High Court in Tanga Division has destroyed cocaine and heroin worth over 539 million shillings. The narcotics were destroyed at Kilimanjaro Cement Factory. The Registrar of the High Court, Tanga Division, Francis Kabwe, said the accused Idi Adam Hussein, a resident from Tanga, and Rashid Ali Mtopea, a resident from Magomeni in Dar es Salaam, were arrested in possession of the illegal drug. That's all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, Mozambique's incumbent president, Filipe Nyusi, has won 73% of the votes in this month's presidential poll. The Electoral Commission said securing a landslide victory in a contest opposition parties say were marred by fraud and violence. The National Election Chairman, Abdul Karimo, said Osufo Made, the candidate for the main opposition party, and former rebel movement Renamo, trailed behind with 21.88% of the vote. And preparation for Kenya's Certificate of Primary Education KCPE examination, which starts tomorrow, have been completed, with the Ministry of Education saying they've had to use helicopters to transport exam papers to counties affected by floods. More than 1 million candidates are expected to sit for them.
Our center and center managers are adequately prepared to take charge of their centers. I've been engaging with my colleagues, the regional directors, and the Bureau being one of them, being in charge of this particular region. And they have given us assurance that the rehearsals have taken off quite well this morning, and they have been running fairly well, and we've not realized any challenge so far. They have been engaging with their center managers, they have been engaging with the supervisors, they have been engaging with the sub-county directors and the deputy county commissioners, the assistant county commissioners, some of our curriculum support officers who are taking charge of containers. We've been assured across the country that examinations have arrived in all our 479 containers.
For decades, children as young as 13 have been recruited to fight in conflicts in many parts of Sudan. Many of them bear psychological and physical scars of these wars and struggle to return to civilian life. But now the new transitional government says it is implementing age and identity checks that will hopefully put an end to their recruitment. And that's all for international news. Business news follows after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts
as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. The government has directed Tanzanite dealers at Mererani Simanjiro district in Manyara region operating outside the wall to make sure they conduct their activities inside the wall by November 1st of 2019, as all infrastructure to carry out their activities has been installed.
We have said that even if it rains, it is no longer possible. So if anyone opposes this, they should have reasons for doing so, but this is our decision. All activities will be conducted here and procedures should be followed.
And the government has called on textile stakeholders in Africa to use locally produced cotton and products manufactured from textile industries in the country in order to grow the market for cotton on the continent.
There's the challenge of skill in running of industries. There are some factories in the country that failed due to lack of expertise. We've continued to motivate our people as well as to prepare strategies to teach them various skills. In the cotton and clothing industries, the level of skill is still very low, but we are trying to address that. There are things we can create from our own resources, and they are of good quality, such as leather and cotton outfits.
The Executive Director of Tanzania Tourist Board, TTB, Devota Ndachi, has said in collaboration with various stakeholders to promote tourism attractions has been very productive and will enable Tanzania to reach its goal of 2 million tourists visiting the country by 2020. She made the statement after receiving Miss World 2018 Vanessa Ponce from Mexico at Kilimanjaro International Airport.
We expect that while Vanessa Ponce is in Tanzania, she will be able to visit some of our attractions. We've prepared a special trip to show her some of the attractions in Tanzania, one of them being the Ngorongoro crater.
And that's where we leave off with business news. Sports news is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose and left.
And in sports news, lack of coordination and missing out on chances have been mentioned as among causes of Yanga's defeat to Pyramids from Egypt in the Confederations Cup group stage game yesterday.
There are 2 or 3 problems. 1. Yanga has a lot of new players who are not used to each other. Secondly, they have players with no international experience. They have not participated in international games. And third, the coaches failed in the team selection as well as substitutions. They didn't do well in that area.
And football authorities have been urged to introduce succession plans for youth teams to avoid losing contact with players from youth national teams after they exceed the age limit.
There must be a strategy on how to help the youth who play in the under-17, under-20 and other competitions who don't have other places to go, because after the competition they leave. As you know, our clubs don't have the tendency of scouting the youth and develop the under-20 and under-17 teams.
Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed Paul Pogba is unlikely to be fit for selection again until December. Here is more on this story.
The 26-year-old has been sidelined with an ankle injury since September 30th and has made just 6 appearances for the club this season after being heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid over the summer. Having spent the recent international break in Dubai to aid his recovery, Pogba still faces up to another month on the sidelines, according to his coach. I don't think we'll see him before December. He'll be out for a while, Solskjaer said, following United's 3-1 win over Norwich last night. During his time in Dubai, Pogba was pictured meeting Real coach Zinedine Zidane, something Solskjaer had no issue with, as he praised the Frenchman's previous desire to play through injury.
Wilfred Zaha has made a joke about Matteo Guendouzi's rash challenge on him, the Crystal Palace's 2-2 Premier League draw with Arsenal last night.
The Ivory Coast international was on the counter in the dying minutes of the match, and as he attempted to get past Guendouzi, the Frenchman made a desperate tackle on Zaha. It caused a melee between the players in what was a dramatic game sparked by VR controversy. The duo settled their differences after the game, and Zaha went on to Twitter to make light of the incident, tweeting, "NFL's at Wembley." Zaha was making reference to NFL outfits, the Cincinnati Bengals and Los Angeles Rams, who were playing at Wembley at the same time the match at the Emirates Stadium was on.
Aliou Balde and Ahmed Faye rose from the bench to inspire Senegal to come from behind and beat the USA 4-1 in a FIFA Under-17 World Cup Group D game at the Estadio Kleber José de Andrade in Cariacica, Brazil.
It was a dream start for Senegal in their maiden appearance at the tournament as Souleymane Faye cancelled out USA's lead. They had taken through Gianluca Busio, while Pape Sarr wrapped up the road late on. Busio had thrust the Americans ahead by heading into the bottom right corner across from Joseph Scali as early as 3 minutes into the match. Senegal's persistence from long range finally paid off when Faye struck just before the halftime whistle with a left-footed shot into the bottom right corner for a 1-all scoreline going into the break. The Africans picked up from where they had left off, with defender Mikhail Faye inside Boye having shots inside the first 7 minutes after the restart.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and good night.